Hello, in this video I'll be showing you a complete guide to everything to do with Tableturf. First things first is that Tableturf can be located in two different points. One being on the right side of the Deca Tower. Through a little alleyway, there's a small box shaped area where you can play against CPUs of both unlockable characters that you've met before in Splatoon and 3 other people who are real people, real users, however they've been replaced by a CPU. The other place to find them is that there will be 3 other characters to play against outside of Hotlantis. Upon going to one of the staff members beside the Tableturf table, you will be given a starter deck. Each deck is comprised of 15 cards and you will be able to choose from 4 cards at any given time. To get cards, you will have to unlock new packs and therefore getting a sum of 5 cards per pack. There are 2 types of packs, a normal pack and a fresh pack. Fresh packs are very rare and the only way to get them is by unlocking them in your catalogue. Regular packs are a little more common and they are obtained by getting them throughout your catalogue, also by leveling up your Tableturf, and also from various things like story mode or generally. Each card will have a certain number of special that it needs to activate its special. What specials do is that whenever you've built up enough of your special power, you can use your special power on a certain card to overlap your own colour on the other person's ink. To do this, you need to build up this certain amount of special power needed to activate the card in its special form, and you need to place the card beside one of your orange squares. To get special power, what you have to do is either pass a card, which means pressing the pass button and selecting the certain card you want to discard and pass your turn on, which will then give you 1 special chunk. The other way is by getting one of your orange chunks on the actual map and surrounding it completely in colour. So you could either do it with your own colour, most commonly. That could include not only your base colour of yellow but also other orange chunks, or you could also get the other person to surround the chunk with other of their colour. What this means is that all 8 adjacent tiles to one of your orange tiles needs to be filled up so that you can get a lit up chunk, which then gives you a special. When constructing a deck in Tableturf Battle, you want to have a certain card ratio. When you unlock cards from packs or other various means, you will want to use those cards in a very specific way. Now, there are a lot of very large cards and cards that will affect quite a large area, but that's not necessarily the best ones to use in your deck. You will want a good range of small to big cards in each deck, and there's a good rule to go by. Since we have 15 cards in total, it's very easy to be able to split all your 15 cards into groups of 3. You want 2 of your groups of 3 to be smallish cards that can range anywhere from 1 to 7 tiles filled up, 10, and after that you want cards that are anywhere from 10 plus. Once you have a good deck, you'll be able to battle all these different foes, from jellies to characters from the shops and even certain story mode people. When facing off against these, they will be on the base level of level 1. Now, level 1 is very easy. It's not too difficult once you have the hang of things, and once you're good at it, it's kind of hard to lose at level 1. However, it will level up to level 2 and level 3, and level 3 is the max. To level up from level 1 to level 2 in a given person, what you want to do is focus on playing that person on level 1. Once you've won about 3 or 4 games, they will level up to level 2, and when winning the same amount of games, that will bring you from 2 to 3. Level 3 is quite difficult, and if you're really good at it, you still will find that it can be a little tough when facing off against people like this. Now that you know roughly how the game works, I'm going to try and get you to understand how to win games and how to get better. First thing you kind of want to understand is that there will be a lot of different maps, but the one constant is that you need to take control of as much area as possible and block the opponent from getting into an area. You can always go back and use other cards to fill in an area you haven't yet filled in, but you need to block the opponent from getting into that area and using their cards on. The less area you give them, the better, because they then can't rank up the points and they will have to use special to get out of it. And the more you encase around them, the harder it will be for them to get out of it, and the more special they'll have to use. This can be quite hard, as the opponent can use the exact same strategy against you whenever you're trying to go around and get to them. So you don't want to be too ambitious, especially if you know that they have very good and big cards that they can use, because they can manage to squeeze through your defenses and get into your area. If they do, an easy way to combat this is using some sort of card that's just big enough so that you can confine that small area into a sub area and split that area in half, so even if they get control of a certain bit of area, they can't manage to get into another bit of your area. Another thing to keep in mind is that if you have a card and the enemy has a card and you place the cards on the exact same spot, what happens is that whatever tiles overlap, if you have the bigger card, then your card will be placed first and the enemy's card will overlap on your card. And if you end up doing a very small card and the enemy does a really big one, what will happen is that you will have the upper hand and the enemy's card will be placed first, followed by your card overlaid on top, which means they will not get the full amount of points that they anticipated, and you will actually get the same amount of points you anticipated. If, however, the two cards that you two placed have the exact same spaces taken up, what will happen is they will both be placed at the same time, and the cards and spaces that overlap will then be turned into walls. Now, walls are very strange things, but essentially what they do, they act as a grey barrier that no one can pass and no one can change at any point in the game. You cannot use your special to override a wall. That is impossible in this situation. That's why you want to be careful about walls and plan around them so that you can make sure you don't get stopped by a wall and aren't able to break through one. A good thing to have in your deck to make the difference between a win and a loss is certain cards that don't have a orange chunk in them that are really big. These include Triple Ink Strike, you got the Reef Slider, and tons of different specials. Now, these special items are good, as while they don't have an orange chunk on them, which means you will not be able to gain a special from it, or even gain ground that you can then bounce off of, it's definitely good last thing, because they cost less to use as a special. This is good because you can use mostly 3 of your special chunks, and you will in turn be able to use up to 13, 12, around that mark of points added to your thing. That's great because that not only allows you to get a lot more points in general, it also allows you to take away points from the other person, and that can double your returns and get you straight from a loss to a win, and then get you the game. With these simple strategies, trial and error, and practice, I believe you will be able to succeed and win a lot of your table turf games, as I have been lately. Apart from that, that's more or less it. I do have a video planned if you're interested, where I'll be going over all the cards in the game, kind of what they're like, and also how to get them. So I do hope you've enjoyed this video for now, and until next time, goodbye.